Hey there, Rico Davis here again with Pro Monetize. In this video for the email domination members on CPA Marketing 101. In this video, I'm going to be talking about funnel creation, also known as monetization pathways. That's a term that I use a lot when it comes to creating a funnel, essentially a sales funnel for CPA offers. So we use the term monetization pathways. All right, so basically, at the end of the day, when you are promoting a CPA offer, there are several ways that you can do it. You can send people directly to the offer, so you can have an ad and you send people right to the offer. Or you can create a funnel. You can create a series of steps to take people through for the purposes of getting them to take the action that you need them to take in order for you to make money, all right, or convert, as we call it in simple terms. All right, so it may seem counterintuitive, but when you take people through more steps, you tend to have a better conversion rate. You tend to make more money, ironically. And what I mean by that is that let's just kind of talk about it in real world terms. Let's say that you meet a girl, and you meet her, and within 10 minutes of meeting her, you ask her to marry you. Obviously, that may, in some cases that could happen, but in the vast majority of times, that will not lead to getting a yes out of that person. They will not convert. So it's the same scenario with sales. If you're trying to get somebody to, say, for instance, fill out an offer about getting a loan. All right. Now, if you just say, hey, get a loan here, low interest rates, get up to $50,000 tomorrow, yes, you will get some people that will convert just from seeing a simple advertisement about that. But you will get a lot more people to convert if you take them through a series of steps. So if you meet a girl for the first time or a guy or whatever, and you take them out to dinner, you go out on a date, enjoy a movie, you do some other things, you meet the family, then you spend some time with them, and all those things, your conversion rate will be much higher. So in terms of buying traffic, one example that I use all the time is auto insurance. So auto insurance is a huge vertical, huge niche in CPA marketing. Lots of volume that's in the auto insurance niche. A lot of people will, just send people directly to an auto insurance offer, because it's like, find the best rates on auto insurance, and you might make money just for somebody entering a zip code. So it's pretty easy a lot of times. But sometimes you can increase your conversion rates by taking people through a funnel. So instead of just saying, complete this offer and fill out your zip code, you might say, hey, check your email for the top 7 ways to not get scammed by auto insurance companies. So now you're taking them through another step. So maybe you're telling them to opt in and getting their email address, and you send them some basic content and say, hey, here's a top 3 ways to not get scammed by auto insurance companies. If you're looking to save, then you tell them what those 3 ways are, and these are things that you could, and this is an example, but these are things that you could find online. This is not something you have to research and create from scratch. You can find good content that people would be interested in, position it as, your own content, by, telling people to opt in and get give you their information in exchange for content, and then redirect them to the CPA offer. All right. So let's say you said 3 ways where you can, not get scammed by auto insurance companies. And at the very last part of the email or the article, you say to find the lowest rates for an auto insurance offer, for auto insurance, click here, and they go to the offer. Now, if somebody takes the time to go through those steps, opts in or clicks through, as we call it, they click to the next page, they read the article or they read the email, then they click to go to the offer, your conversion rates will be much higher. In some cases, if you just sent people right to the auto insurance offer, if you sent 100 people there right to the offer, you might get 5 of them to convert, which, if all they need to do is enter their email address or zip code or short form, that's not the greatest because they don't have to buy anything. But if you take people through a step, you could take those same 100 people through the step and you might get 25 of them to convert, all right, because they've gone through a series of steps. You provided them some basic content. It doesn't need to be, masterful, expert level information, but just some basic information. And then you say, hey, if you want to get access to this thing, click here and complete the form. All right, those little things can make a huge, tremendous difference, literally 6 figures difference. So don't take for granted the power of what we call monetization pathways. There's many different ways to create them. Monetization pathway could be simple as getting somebody's email address. And in one of the videos I talk about a traffic source where you can just buy the email address and it gets uploaded right into your email marketing account. So that's a pathway where that email address comes into your email marketing account and you send them an email. That's a pathway. You're getting people to respond to an ad. They're saying, yes, I want more information. Then they're receiving an email, and in that email, you're then redirecting them to an offer. Another way, which most of you probably are familiar with, is you create an opt-in page. So you're buying traffic, or you're sending an email. Say you're buying email traffic, what we call email media buys, and you maybe are saying, in the case of auto insurance, read this article to find 3 ways not to get scammed by auto insurance and learn how to save up to $1,000 a year on auto insurance. So somebody who clicks on that is interested in auto insurance, plain and simple. So you can take them through a series of steps to ensure that you maximize your conversion rates, because this is all about your bottom line. How much are you making per click? How much are you earning when that person clicks and converts? And then from the bigger picture standpoint, you want to be building a list. You want to try to build a list. One of the things that a lot of people in the CPA marketing industry do not do is they don't build lists. The reason why a lot of people don't is because you don't necessarily have to make money, but you can make your profit margins can be much higher if you build the list, because by having a list you can continue to market to those people. But the thing with CPA marketing, people can buy traffic and then they can what we call arbitrage the traffic, where they spend less than they make, but they're not building a list. I highly recommend that you build a list. We're all about building sustainable assets, building something sustainable, and without having access to a list or a database that you can continually follow up with, it becomes very difficult to have a sustainable online business. It'll be what we call feast and famine, where it's either you're making money or you're losing money, and you're making money, and it's can be very volatile, can be very stressful. But if you have a list that you're building and you're taking some time and you're going through those learning curves and you're just doing that on a consistent basis, then you'll have a much better chance of really succeeding at higher and higher levels. Okay, so let's talk about some examples when it comes to funnel creation. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Most people like to use softwares that help them automate that process. There's a number of different softwares where you can create simple opt-in pages. One of the ones that we use a lot is Lead Pages. If you go to leadpages.net, you can find out more about them. You may or may not have heard about them. So I'm just in here, and they have a number of different lead pages, basically pages that you can use to collect opt-ins and build your list while also at the same time monetizing that list. All right, so I'm just going to briefly go through here. So there's a lot of different ones. So I'm just going to sort by opt-in pages because we really want to just focus on opt-ins. The thing is, we keep it simple. Some of these pages look like they have a lot of images and they look really nice looking. All right, and people think that your pages need to look all fancy. They don't. They don't need to look fancy. Now, if you take the time to do that, that'll help you out. But the last thing that I want people to do is think that they have to build these super fancy pages for a CPA offer, and they take hours and maybe sometimes days upon end trying to get the images and get all the formatting set up. And Lead Pages makes it really simple though. But getting all the links in place, and then you send traffic to it and you realize it doesn't really convert, or you're not really or you're jumping from one offer to the other. I recommend starting simple, see if it converts, and then build upon it. For instance, I really like this page. I'm just going to just show this page real quick. I like how this page looks. This is a classic survey type of offer page. And this can be used for a number of different things. So let me just go over here real quick so you can see it. So this is like a quiz page. Now this can be used for anything. Since I'm talking about CPA offers, I'm talking about in that context. But this would be like a really good and obviously, and the thing is, people see like, oh, I have to talk about health or diet stuff. No, this can be about anything. This could be about, you know, which politician do you like better, or which it could be anything, or which store do you like better? Like it could be Walmart or Target, you know. So it doesn't have to be about the topic that the template's about. So just be clear on that. So you can kind of take some time to strategize. You could say, so basically you're kind of getting people in by getting them to take a quiz. Well, this is very popular. And then, you know, like they have all this extra stuff you can have. And the things with lead pages, you can remove all this. You can remove all of this, you know, and just have just this top part here, you know, and, you know, people, they will click here. And essentially when they click here, there's an opt-in page that will pop up. All right, so when they click there, and then basically you can kind of, opt-in page pops up there, and this is how you collect the people's person's email address, their information. You can collect their name. I just recommend just collecting their email address, you know, to start off with. See how well you can convert there, then you start adding things on. This is where testing and all that stuff comes in, because what people don't talk about a lot, depending on who you're getting training from, but if you really want to make a lot of money on anything online, you can't expect that you're going to get it right the first time. All right, you have to be willing to test. If you're not willing to test, then you might as well not move any farther. That's if I'm doing coaching and training long enough here, people who test more often and don't get frustrated because they maybe took 20, 30, 40 minutes, an hour or so to do a test. You know, maybe they were testing different images and maybe that image didn't do as well. Some people would say, okay, well, this doesn't work, or I'm going to give up, or I'm going to do something else. I'm going to move to another project. You know, the people who make the money are testing regularly on a very regular basis. So you can't be afraid to test regularly. So, and you could use this template for a lot of different things, but this would be a perfect example where somebody votes, you know, they vote for A or whatever, and then instead of saying get our newsletter, it's saying, you know, find out the answer, or, you know, basically you can read this and cater it to that. So you don't want to, if you're a person that just only copies and pastes stuff and says, oh, give me the template, tell me exactly what to say. If that's a person, then you're going to have a much harder time making a lot more money in CPA marketing, because you want to start by mimicking what people have, but then making it your own and starting to test things. Because the more you test, the better chance you have for massive success. If you only just wait for somebody to tell you what to do next, you're not going to get to the next level. You're just not. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to even pretend that you will. You have to be willing to test different things and keep testing. That's the key. I don't care if you're making $100 a day or $100,000 a day, at all levels, because I know people who are making $50,000 a day. We've done campaigns. We manage campaigns that do over you know, several $100,000 a month. You know, we're not just sitting back and saying this page is perfect. We never have to test anything. We test all the time. That's the secret. I guess there's a lot of secrets, and it's not really a secret. It's just things that people don't want to talk about because it doesn't seem like sexy. You know, oh, I have to test, I have to adjust things. People just want the thing how it is, and that's not the real world. That's not how it happens in the real world. If that's how you think it is, then you're sadly mistaken. You're going to be struggling because you're going to be jumping from project to project and not really taking the time to really test out things. These pages are proven. You just put your own spin on it, send traffic to it, see how it does, and make adjustments from there. So anyway, I didn't mean to go on a rant there, but when I start getting into talking about certain pages and certain specific things, this is where a lot of people kind of start falling off, because they want it to be, they just say, oh, well, just tell me what to say, or let me say the exact right thing for me to make money. And it does not work like that in the real world. You know, keep it simple, keep it consistent with what the offer. So let's say if we were talking about auto insurance in that case, you know, we could say, you know, which car has more costs. You have to pay more for auto insurance. There's a lot of cool things you could do with that type of page. But I say all that to say that you can go, that could be like an advanced page. You could start with something as simple as, where is it at? As simple as a basic opt-in page. Okay, so the super simple basic opt-in page. And, you know, a lot of times when I do teachings, you know, I show one thing, and then the next thing, you know, everybody does that one thing. If you want to be successful, you want to stand out from the crowd, don't just do everything that everybody else is doing. You know, make adjustments, use your brain, you know, do some research, and then come to some conclusions. Test something. It doesn't need to be perfect. See how it does, and then continue to test. That's the secret sauce. All right. So this one, you know, is simple. You know, read this report now. Free report reveals the 5 tools I use to create all my videos, including, you know, my $80 HD video camera. Okay. So if you're, now let's think about this from a CPA marketing standpoint. Okay. So CPA marketing, most of the time, you know, when you're starting out, you're probably just focusing on lead generation offers, you know, offers that, you know, are going to just require somebody just to complete a simple form where they're not going to have to pull out their credit card. So let's say you're doing a credit report offer, like I talked about in one of the other videos. You know, you can have a short series. You know, you can go out on Google, research different information about credit, getting your credit report checked, and then compile a report. And it could be like, and when I say report, you know, it could be, or it could be a instead of a report, it could be, you know, 3 things to be aware of before checking your credit. All right. So basically, it's like, get the report here, and that report could be 10 sentences long. It could be an article that you find online that you're sending people. So when they click here, they enter their email address here, and they receive that email. Okay. So I just want you to follow with me how these funnels can work. So you're thinking about the end goal in mind. The end goal is to get them to convert on an offer. You want to get them excited about learning more information about the offer. So it's like 3 things that you need to know before checking your credit. Okay, that's interesting. So the people who are interested in that will potentially opt in and then go to the offer. Now, one thing you can do is that these pages, they have like these options. And one thing about, I like lead pages because they have really good training. So but you can do an exit pop. All right, so you can do an exit pop, and basically what happens is if somebody leaves the page without opting in, they will go right to the offer. So if you can't get their email address because they left the page, you can send them directly to the offer. You know, so you still have an opportunity to monetize that lead who didn't opt in. But if they opt in, now you have their email address to follow up with them. Okay, so that's like, those are the funnels. So let me just close out of this one here. So there's a lot of different funnels here. Let me just go back here that you can use. And, you know, so I went, you know, to the opt-in ones. And again, there's other softwares that do this. I'm just showing this one because we use it a lot personally. But we also have a designer who builds out custom built funnels for us. But again, just to keep it simple, you can keep, there's a lot of ones that you can use here. But the secret, and I keep saying secret, but it's not really secret, but just, you know, things that people think, you know, you think just because they have all this fancy stuff that you have to have all this. You don't need to have that. You can just keep it simple. You can remove everything except for the headline. So this is another one that's you've probably seen. It's a survey squeeze page where you can take people through a series of steps before you send them to an offer. All right, so I like to start with the very simple ones and then build upon that. But sometimes the simple ones are the ones that consistently do the best as well. All right. So, okay. So let's just kind of visualize this. So you've gotten somebody to opt in to say one of these forms, maybe one of the real simple ones. Okay. Now the next thing is, what do you do with them after they opt in? You can do a number of things. You can take them, you know, you can send them right to the offer. You can send them directly to the offer because you've gotten their email address, or you can send them to another step. Again, what we may do is send them to a thank you page. All right, so here's a thank you page here. So, and there's a couple different thank you pages. One of the more popular ones that we use is something simple like this. So let me just go here. So in this case, okay, so in this case, this is a perfect example. And again, it's not about how it looks. It's about how they're positioning it. This is not about like, oh, let me copy and paste what Rico's saying. This is about, let me try to understand the strategy that Rico's talking about and implement it, and put my own style on it. All right, that's what's going to make you successful, not just copying and pasting. It's going to be understanding what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. And essentially what you can do, you can create this page. So after somebody opts in, you tell them to go to this page. All right. It could say thanks for signing up, or your free report's on its way, or basically acknowledging that they've completed one part of the process. And in this case, says everything we promised will be sent to your inbox shortly. Now, this is the important part here. You know, you can put an image here and you can be fancy here, but this is the important part. This is the monetization here. This is where the monetization happens. This is where the money is made. All right, and this is very, very important. For you understanding why I'm telling you all this stuff and why it's important. So it says, while you wait for your materials to arrive via email, we recommend that you click continue below to, you know, in this case it says learn more about lead pages and what it can do for your business. But then you could say, we recommend you click continue below to learn about where to get the best auto loan from, or the best auto insurance. So basically, you're basically directing people here. So you're saying, okay, we're sending you whatever we promised you to your email address, but before you do that, why don't you take a look at this offer, essentially. Okay, so you know, you can brainstorm on the wording here. It doesn't need to be fancy. You don't need to hire an advanced copywriter to write this. It could be like, you know, if you're doing credit reports, hey, check out, you know, let's hypothetically say that you get people to opt in, you know, and the offer, or the thing that you were giving them in exchange for the email address was three things they need to know before checking their credit, or before, you know, viewing their credit report. You know, again, this is something you can search online. They get an email, and then you say, okay, you know, if you were looking to get your credit report, you know, take a look at this site. Or, you know, we recommend that if you're looking to get your credit report right away for free, or for some type of incentive, you know, click here to continue. All right. So now the person has opted in. They're waiting for information from you. You're telling them that, hey, this is the information that I recommend you take a look at in the meantime. So when people click on this link here, you know, they have a much higher percentage chance of converting versus if you just sent them right to the page. All right, this is the essence of a monetization pathway at its simplest. Okay, but this is what it is. So you want to take some time to think about it. You know, you diagram it out, write it on a piece of paper. Step 1, you know, step 2, step 3. All right, so that's pretty much in a nutshell. Obviously, I could go on about this for much longer, but just so you understand the basics of what we're kind of going over here, as we kind of take you through the process of, you know, the realities of CPA marketing, you can start wrapping your head around that. So now you've decided on the type of offer you want. You're thinking about the different angles that you can go by doing research, just going to Google and reading different articles about that offer. Learn about the vertical. A lot of people, they just want to make money but they don't want to learn about the industry. You know, I have a finance background. I was in corporate finance, so I know a lot about the financial industry. So when we got into CPA marketing, that's where we started. But we also do a lot of different verticals in diet, health, games, things like that. So when we get into the diet space, we research the products, we research the companies, we research the ingredients, we read autoresponder sequences, we read articles, we've immersed ourselves in that industry. So when we did decide to create a funnel, or we decided to promote an offer, we knew what to look for. So that's going to make you successful, not just jumping from one offer to another because, you know, you think it's going to make you money. You want to get that knowledge, you want to get that information, so when you do create these funnels, it's much easier versus you trying to guess. So go out there, do some research. You know, if you're deciding that you're going to start with the dating niche, you know, like dating sites, you know, find out about dating offers, read articles out there, there's blog posts, just get more information and say, okay, well, look how, basically one of the terms that we use is called swipe, deploy, and improve, where we look at what other people are doing, we look at their funnels, even if they're selling their own products or services, we say, how can we do this same thing, make it really super simple, and market a CPA offer on the back end instead of our own product or service. And if it makes enough money and we're doing really well, we might create our own product and service down the line, but that's a whole nother conversation. But the point is that you want to get out there and do the research. Start Googling, basically. You know, there's no substitute for all the information that's out there for free online, to use that and then compile it, you know, and then start making some decisions. Say, this is what I'm going to test first. This is what I'm going to test second. This is what I'm going to test next, and we're going to see which ones do the best. All right, that's the key. But you always want to, if you're new to marketing, what you're going, and hopefully if you're going through these videos and the training through the email domination course, that you start to look at online marketing different. You start to look at how you're getting monetized online differently. We look at, every time I'm online, almost everything I see is a funnel of some sort, you know. So you start looking at things differently. You start looking at how they word things, and it's not like you need to take a course. Just see what is actually happening every day in front of you when you're on Facebook, how people are taking you from an ad that you see to an opt-in page, to an article, to an opt-in page, to a blog post that goes to an opt-in page. Just look at that, and don't just be a sheep going through the process. Actually look at it, study it, say, you know, and say, hey, if this caught my attention, I might be able to make a funnel similar to this and monetize a certain CPA offer and get people's attention. I may be able to mimic that process. Doing that will help you create funnels much easier. Don't just look to basically say, oh, well, tell me what to do next, or what should I say here, what should I say there. Look and find out what people are doing. Swipe what they're doing. And when we mean swipe, just copy it. Make it your own. Change it so you're not copying verbatim. Make it your own. Put your own spin on it. The more research you do, the more strategy that you start thinking about this, the better off you'll be. But don't spend so much time doing research that you never actually implement. We'll do a lot of research, and then we'll do like 10 different things that we're going to test. We'll start with one. We'll just pick one that we'll test, and then we'll test the next thing, and then we'll test the next thing, and we'll go down the line, and we'll see which one does the best as far as different angles of different funnels that we can create. The more you do that, the more strategic you are with that piece of it, the much more success you'll be able to have with creating funnels, and then it'll just be much more fun versus you just trying to hope somebody's going to tell you what to do next. When you get it there and you understand the strategy, you'll start to come up with your own ideas. You'll start to see things differently. And instead of you just saying, tell me step 1, step 2, step 3, you'll be like, okay, I understand the strategy. Now let me go out there and do some research. Let me have a conversation with the CPA network. Let me talk with some affiliate managers. Let me do some research, you know, and that's the thing that I see in this industry. A lot of people don't do. They don't want to do the research. They just want people to tell them what to do, and then they wonder why they're not going to have the success that they want to have. Get out there, do the research, just like we do in our business. We're not just waiting for somebody to tell us what to do. We're in it day in and day out. We're figuring things out. We're making connections, and that's key. It's the things that a lot of people won't tell you about, but that's what we do. There's no secret to putting that work in to make it work at a large level, and you'll benefit from it. Information that you learn. You're not just going to forget it. You'll be building upon it and building upon it. So that's very important. The funnel creation process. I have an entire course, which is 2-day, 48 hours worth of information, just on this topic. So I could go into it for a long time, but for the sake of this mini course, I guess you can call it, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I really want you to understand the strategy that's involved when it comes to creating a monetization pathway and creating a funnel, and why we do it, and how you should be thinking about it, and the strategy you should go about creating them. All right, so that's that for this video, and we'll see you in the next one.